Alright, so in this video we're looking at an amazing process, and I'm going to call this curious number 1. And in this process we're going to start with any number, and following two simple rules will always end up with the number 1. So pick any number, follow these two rules, and you will always return back to 1. The first rule is that if the number is odd, so if you pick a number and it's odd, then what you do is multiply by 3 and add 1. And the second rule is if the number is even, divide by 2. So following these two rules, we'll start with any number. Following these rules, we'll always end up back to 1. So let's try it, and then we'll think about what's happening. So let's say I pick the number 14. If I pick 14, what I do is divide by 2, and I get 7. But now this is odd, so I'll multiply by that by 3 and add 1. So 7 times 3 is 21, plus 1 is 22. And then I divide by 2, and I get 11. But that's odd. So I'll multiply that by 3 and add 1, and I get 34. And that's even, so I divide by 2, and I get 17. But that's odd. So multiply by 3 and add 1, and what do I get there? So 17 times 3, well, 3 times 10 is 30, 3 times 7 is 21, so that's 51, 52. And I'm running out of room here. 52 divided by 2 is 26. 26 divided by 2 is 13. We're dividing those even numbers by 2, but this is odd. So multiply by 3 and add 1, and we get 40. That's even. Divide by 2. We get 20. Divide that by 2, we get 10. Divide that by 2, we get 5, but that's odd. So multiply by 3 and add 1, we get 16. Divide by 2, we get 8. Divide by 2, we get 4. Divide by 2, we get 2. Divide by 2, we get 1. Now, that went all over the place, but we started with a random number, followed these two rules, and we ended up at 1. Let's try a number close to 14 and see what happens. Let's try an odd number. Well, if we tried 13, look at this. If we tried 13, we would start this chain right here. So 13 is not a mystery. Okay. What about 15? Did we end up with 15 anywhere in this chain? No. Okay, so let's try 15. So if I start with 15, which is orange, that's odd. So the rule is if it's odd, multiply by 3 and add 1. We get 46. Now, divide by 2, because it's even. We get 23, but that's odd. So multiply by 3 and add 1, we get 70, right? 23 times 3 is 69, plus 1 is 70, and that's even, so divide by 2. Then we get 35, but that's odd. So multiply that by 3 and add 1. So 35 times 2 is 70, times 3, 105, plus 1 is 106. This is even. Divide that by 2, and what do we get? 58. That's even. Divide that by 2, and we get 24. Divide that by 2, and we get 12. Divide that by 2, we get 6. Divide that by 2, we get 3. But 3 is odd, so multiply by 3 and add 1, and we get 10. And look at that. We join this chain now, and now we're at 10. And I know that 10 divided by 2 is 5. 5 times 3 plus 1 is 16. Divided by 2 is 8. Divided by 2 is 4, divided by 2 is 2, divided by 2 is 1. So this would end up back to 1 as well. So you can pick any number. And I guess the question is, why is this happening? And I don't know why. I'm not sure. I can make guesses as to what's happening. It's something curious in our number system. And the answer is, I don't think it's really known yet or proven. We know this works. We can't prove it for every number. We just know that every number we've tried has worked. So no matter what we start at, we end up back to 1. I leave it to you to think about why, and maybe you'll be the person to prove why this actually works. So I hope you enjoyed that.